So we have the sidewalk here that we're working on today. We're filling in the gaps. That's my dad. He's kind of sanding everything off. And I plan to add another sidewalk over there, and then a little gravel driveway here, and then some dirt, and then some nice grass, and maybe a tree or 2 trees. But yeah, this is an update.
What's up, everyone? This is an update on the tiny house. So we finally decided to establish some curb appeal, and we laid this rock sidewalk. And in this video, I wanted to go over the steps we took to build the form, mix the mortar, and lay the rock. And it's pretty straightforward, and it's not as hard as it looks. The hardest part about it is the physical part. And if you're not a professional, having to build the form. So let's get into it. So if you're wondering what the form is made up of the 2 2x4s on each side, and the metal wire on the ground, and the little stakes you see holding the form together. Whenever you're not a professional like us, you can't do it with only a string level. I've seen some guys do it with only a string level, and I think it's amazing that they can do it. Those are guys that have been in the industry, in the rock laying industry, for a long time, and that's not us. But what we did is we put up the form by connecting a few 2x4s and deciding on the width we wanted with the sidewalk, and then we used the little stakes on each side to hold it up and support it. We leveled it off, and then we put the wire in, and that's the form. If you're wondering why the wire needs to be in there, it's because whenever the earth moves, well, the ground underneath you moves, it can crack the sidewalk if there's no wire. The wire basically holds everything together. Since it's metal and it's flexible, it is very good at keeping the sidewalk from cracking and looking ugly. So that's the form. After the form, we got our rock, moved it over to the location, and mixed the mortar. The mortar mix that we used was composed of half a bag of ready mix, 4 shovel loads of sand, and 1 shovel load of porter mix, I believe it's what it's called. But after we mixed those up, we added water and put it in the mixer until it became viscous enough to mess with. We would throw the mortar on the ground over the wire and then stack the rock on top of it, and that's what holds the rock in place. You do that, then put the level on it and get the level of the rock and try to match it to the level of the rest of the rocks, and keep it level by putting the level over the 2 2x4s that you have on each side. So once we got the sidewalk laid, we came back over it with a different type of mortar. This type of mortar is called the Masonry Mortar mix, and this is what you use to fill in the gaps between the rocks. And once we had all the gaps filled, we gave it about 2 hours and then came back over it with a brush with plastic bristles on it. And once we had that done, we came over it with the leaf blower and took out the rest of the excess, little pebbles and stuff. And then after that, it's just a matter of waiting. We're giving it about 2, maybe 3 weeks to dry before we come back and take the form off. Once we get the form off, we'll start building the steps, and we will have established some curb appeal at this tiny house. And here is my dad with some words of inspiration.
Whatever you want to do is, if you want to do one thing, do it right. If not, don't do it at all.